I'm back and I'm live. Just getting myself set up. You'll hear the kettle in the background. Just rocked in. And getting my computer ready. Good morning, Lynette. How you feeling? Good? Howdy hi. So a while ago I started doing this baby. I can see there's about 12 people on so far. It's not too bad. I'm just wondering what that crease was. It's the fabric underneath. And I'll just get right into it. So I've drawn this in black texture, basically. And the reason why I'm not worried about having black texture on my fabric is because basically I'm painting over the top of it. So I've used one of these. Okay, it was just a Sharpie fine point. No, I wouldn't say that, Lynette. G'day Rado and Gidget, how are you? Good morning to everyone. Strange bed, strange place, so no, I didn't really have the greatest sleep, but you know what, I will tonight. I've got positive thinking on my side. Did you get anything done at the retreat last night? No, I got a little bit done. I sort of got there and stuffed my face full of food because I was hungry, and chatted with people for a bit and really sort of fluffed around. Did a little bit of sewing, which I'll take some photos of today and post tomorrow, but yeah, not really a lot done. And I've got a little funny video that I'll post up after this demo that's quite amusing. You'll get a bit of a giggle out of Mary and I. So anywho, getting into this. So this is from my peonies pattern. I'll show you the pattern if I can find one. I might have finished the print on it. Yeah, I have. I've finished the print on it. I do have the pattern available still. I just haven't got print out of it. Yeah, very, very pretty. And I mean, the pattern originally is designed as a raw edge applique, but this just shows you how you can turn something that's raw edge applique or silk painted, just the design itself, into something painted. So you can see I've already started. I did that a while ago, and then I started doing some stitching just to show you that once you sort of get moving, you don't really see the black line anyway. But in saying that, I've used 2 layers of poly. It's quite poofy. And that's also going to give us a bit of protection to what's underneath. You can see it's all creased. It needs a, before I even start stitching. I should have seen me trying to use the old girl machine last night. It just, she would not do anything I wanted her to do. Yeah, I just had a bit of a moment with my old machine. So what I did with this one is I started with white, and I've built up the white, and I basically get the lid, pour a little in it, which is a big no-no. Dampen the brush, and I'm going to use my old favourite, which is this little cheapie. It's a flat edge brush, and I like the fact that it's got a flat edge. I didn't really wash them well last night. I sort of closed everything off and ran. So I didn't give it a proper wash, so it's got a bit of paint still in it, but that's okay. So just dampen your brush. And it's a little bit confusing because I don't have the actual picture with me, but in saying that, we're just going to paint these different areas, and this is, of course, you'd be painting without stitching. So this is the reverse of what I did the other day. So I stitched first and then painted.
And now this one I'm going to paint first. So just adding the white in first. This is a pearlescent white from the paints, the Lumiere paints. Now this afternoon we have live sales at 4 o'clock, but I'm going to move it to 3:30 just to let everyone know. So you come along at 3:30 if you would like to catch yourself a bargain, because I'd like to finish a little bit earlier and get there a little bit before dinner, so I'm not having to reheat my food, basically. And then I am adding in the white to this bit here. This is sort of a petal. That's the inside, and this is the edge of it. And I'm trying not to paint over. This is what I say about, you know, keeping me honest. Trying not to paint over those lines, but because they're not stitched, I'm not being overly careful. I'll just pop that aside and wash out, sorry, some of the brush. Grab a new one of these and just soak up the excess. You can see some of that paint still coming off. Pop it aside and grab my purple. So one's going to have the purple base to it, the other one's going to have the pink. And you can see I've probably missed a few areas which I can come back to. Now this one I don't need to pour any into because I'm not using a huge amount. But grabbing that little bit of purple there, taking that excess paint off, taking it off there as well, and using the brush, and it's getting a bit ragged, this brush, I might have to find a new favourite, and just working it in. You can see how it lightens because of the white, so this is using the two colours together to show you can blend these. And I just doing that. So I've blended straight onto the actual canvas, so to speak, rather than blending onto what do they call them, a palette, and then going from there. I'm going to swap over. I know it's not, hasn't got an angle on it, but it's small, so just keeping my paint pot things just to the side. I'm just going to darken up in here. This is the area that I painted a long time ago, and I mean 6 months or more, 12 months maybe. And I'm darkening up that again. Since it's dried, I can do that. There's no point adding more paint onto that yet. It'll just blend in with the white. Okay, if you know what I mean. So I'm making the bottom darker. It's like a painting lesson, isn't it, really? And this is straight onto the fabric. There's no fabric medium. And then I'm going to get here and just soften it. See how I'm going in circles? And that just softens it. See how it softens it into, makes it blend a little without being like taking over. Good morning, Stella. How are you, darling? Hello, Agent 99. I'll grab the white again. And I'm going to probably work down around here. I'm not going to work up. Oh, I could probably work in that one. I'm just looking at where my petals start and finish. I'm working this one here. And I met Margaret Johnson. You'll all know her as Margaret Johnson. She likes to be called Maggie, just FYI. And she is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. What a riot she is. A lot of fun. So I've met Maggie, great lady. Fit in really well with the group straight away because we're all mad as cut snakes. I can see a drop of water on there, I'll just take it off. So this is again sort of one of the turned petals. The petals are turning, curling, so to create the depth between them. You just need to add in a little bit of the mauve or the purple, and I'm going to pop it into the center there, just there like that, and here, just along the base where it meets the other one. Just rub the excess paint off and give it a bit of a smudge. There we go. And there you are. So you can see that creates a really nice look straight away. Then we can get this one. Actually, I might go over here. So I put my hand in it. And because I'm going straight onto fabric, no water or anything else, you do use a little bit more paint this way, but I'm going to get a really nice shiny look. Really, really shiny. And with white, I find that you do need to sometimes come back in and touch it up a little bit. And you can see how it's not keeping me honest, these lines. But I do need them there because I'll need to know where to sew. So I'm going to try and keep them separated if I can, as best as I can. This one. Probably should have given the fabric a little bit of an iron. That might have helped with the fluffiness of it, with the softness of it. You don't want to starch them because you're adding another chemical to the fabric and it could stop the paint from adhering properly. And you do want to do that. You can avoid it. You can see how handy having a little flat brush. And again, like I say, it's the same one I've been using with the Inktense pencils, and works a treat in this as well. And that one there, I'm just going to put a little bit in the top there. You make it look so easy, Michelle Lovely. Did you wash the fabric before starting, Michelle? No, definitely not. I don't. Batiks normally do have, have been washed quite a bit. Like good batiks have been washed quite a bit. And I can see that there's no wax or anything on it, so that's all good. So it didn't really need it. I do have a fabric when I do work on white and do classes that has less, what do they call it? Oh my God, I've gone blank. Oh, you know what I mean. What's it called? Stuff that, it's not it's, it'll come to me later. Anyway, it has less of it in it so that you don't have to wash it. The stuff that they use to hold the colour. I just used the word before and I've already forgotten. How ridiculous. Redonkulous. All right. Hi Judy, how you going? Just popping that white down, grabbing straight into the purple. Serena's barking because I think she's seen a rabbit, or it's either that or it's a snake. I don't think it'd be a snake today. It must be a rabbit. Go underneath the building. So she thinks that she's going to bark it out. Of course, that's not going to happen. So this here is a little crease. So I just want to put in a darker colour. Got that tiny little bit of white up there in the centre of it, just to give it a bit of detail. Go on here. And just give it a little bit of a smudge. There we go. Just softly. I'm hardly even touching the actual fabric. I'm really being very soft with it so far. I'm not sort of scratching at it or anything like that. I'm just little tiny little dabs and swirls very lightly. And these are techniques you build up over years with painting and stuff like that, so that you can get sort of effects at the time. And what did you use to draw the picture? Sorry, I was late coming in. Was planting dwarf agapanth. That's lovely. Okay, so to draw the picture on, I have used the Sharpie pen, believe it or not, straight onto it. Just going to take some of that paint off. It's way too much paint. And give it a bit of a smudge, just to give a definition here. There we go. I'll just take off. Just making sure I've got enough in some areas for now. Can always come back later. Yeah, so this is this design is something I drew from, and I've had in a pattern called Peonies, because they're peony roses. So you might like to purchase it. I think it's on the website as a pattern. You can purchase it. Don't have it as just a design. Oh, I might be able to just sell the design alone, the actual drawing. I will have a look in my files and see if I've got that. Thanks, Stella. If you're interested in it, let me know, and I might be able to get it to you. Whoops, a days. That's a bit of a blob. Oh, 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 oh. Paint everywhere. Oh. That one's sort of looks a bit watery than the other. So this is a bit of a blue in with the purple. Just touching that purple. Get a bit of that blue off. Get more purple, just to make it a bit of a dark colour. See how it makes that bright purple a bit of a dark purple. And that's just because that petal is way down the bottom here. Take the paint off your brush. So to do that, I am literally just scratch, 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 just like that. Okay. And touch a little bit of white, because I don't want to wet it again, because it just makes it watery. A little bit more than that. And just touch around the edge where you want it to go. Dab, dab, basically. And just around there, like that. Get the paint off. Touch that blue again. Back in there. And keep that darker. And get the white. I've taken the paint out again. And just work the white into the purpley area, not the other way around. Alright. Grab a little bit more of that blue. Let's go into these little corner bits and touch it in there. And it looks a little bit bright at the moment, but we're going to fix that. Because it's got a fair amount of white underneath it, we don't want it to go a really light blue. So we'll just sit it there for a second. And, oops, I'm going to touch the wrong one. And get a little bit of the purple on top of it. And then we can just work it out a little. Take the paint off. And just work the edges of it in little round circles so it's not a flat sort of harsh edge. So you see how that just softens that edge up a little just by doing a really, really soft, hardly even touching it, soft edge. And that instantly darkens it up. Bit of the blue in here. Touch more. There we go. And we'll put it up here as well. Sort of in those corners where you know you want a little bit more shadow. Grab the purple on top. And being a very small space, we don't want to make a mess. So just dab at it, that one. Taking the paint off in between each one. I don't want too much paint. Add a little bit of purple into that. And let's just work it up there. And I am softly, softly dabbing. It's not a quick process, this, creating that shadowing and stuff like that. This takes time, but it is really, really rewarding. Soften up the edges and get a nice look then. Okay. Then we get some more blue and let's work in here. I think we need to work between these two. They look a little bit too joined, don't they? A little bit of blue in there. Now, hi Michelle, can someone that's never painted accomplish something remotely like yours? Lol, looks beautiful. Absolutely. If you were to, these paints are very forgiving, okay? If you ask Julie Donaghy, she just started, never painted before. Couldn't paint, said she couldn't paint. I've always asked her to paint with us, never do it because, you know, she can't do it. She started doing a course with, was with Helen Godden, just like you've got doing right now, basically one block at a time, and started painting, and man, is she painting. So yes, you can, absolutely. If you were to grab the paints, draw your picture, draw what you want it to be, and then just sit and watch the video on how things are blended, you know, how it's applied, that sort of thing. You know, don't be frightened of it. Absolutely can do it. No reason why not. You've got to start somewhere, Francis. And why not start now? There's no time better than the present. And you will find what will happen is that all of a sudden your world will be open up. So instead of just looking at, say, some applique pattern, you'll go, oh, I could paint that. And the next thing you're starting to paint things instead of cutting fabric, or you're doing it as well as cutting fabric, you know. You might do a teddy bear, but you want to, instead of cutting out fabric and that, you might want to paint the eyes on or paint the buttons on his shirt, or, you know, that sort of thing. So, yeah, absolutely can, 100%. Okay, so what's else said? What else has we got? Yeah, it was a great question, Stella. Good morning, ladies. Well, Michelle, that fabric with the fabric with the paint. Wow, yeah, it does make a difference. Love your background fabric. Can I purchase some from you? Do I have some? Yes, I do. Maybe not. Hang on. I'm just looking around the room. I've got one similar. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yep, I do. You can. Kay, sure, I'll show you it at the end. Just remind me again. Absolutely. I don't think I'd know where to start putting this shadowing in, and it would end up like one of the blob test. No, I wouldn't. Yes, I'm new to these paints and not a painter and love them. I also found Helen. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I thought bringing Helen up this next year, it was supposed to be this year, next year would be a really good, because she's been doing it for such a long time. I mean, so have I, but I've been doing other things, not just this, but she's been doing the teaching of it and everything for such a long time that it's, you know, the woman's just a mountain of information. So that's why I thought bring her up here. And then COVID happened. So by me putting the blue down first, then grabbing the purple, putting it on top, I'm basically using the fabric as a palette. Okay, mixing palette. You can mix it on your palette if you wanted to grab one, but what I find is I tend to waste paint. So I tend to do it in very tiny little amounts and just a bit at a time. And I just take my time rather than trying to do 6,000 things at once. You know, the idea of doing this is to sit back and enjoy, you know. Just pushing that into that corner there. Looks like I've missed it with a bit of paint. A bit of white in there. There we go. So just blending very softly, all round circles. Just softening up those edges. And I've never done one of Helen's classes. I've seen her do stuff and everything, but I've never done one. I have no idea whether I'm similar, different, or, you know, indifferent. No idea. I mean, Rado would probably know better than me because she's currently or has done some. So whether it's apples and pears, you know what I mean? Like whether it's completely different or whether it's very, very similar. I'm sure we've all got our own special techniques. Now this one had already dried, so I'm just grabbing a little bit of white and just pushing it in to help the blending process, okay? You see how that helps move the paint. What's the best way to start on a small scale? Yep, so grab yourself a kid's colouring book, find a picture, grab a quarter of a fat quarter, so a small piece of fabric, and start with an exciter pack. You know, these paints are very, very forgiving. Don't try and work, if you're just starting out, don't try and work with, you know, basic kids acrylic paints or things, you know, the cheapy ones, because all you will do is create a headache for yourself, okay? So what happens is that you'll use paints that aren't really high in quality because they're classed as student paints, and what happens is that they don't work the way they're supposed to. So then you get disheartened. because then you think, oh, well, I can't do it. But the reality is if you're using an inferior product or product that's not designed for what you're doing, then you're sort of setting yourself up to fail. So the best thing to do is set yourself up to succeed. So get yourself some cheap brushes and don't make them the hog hair. Hog hair is that white, coarse, bristly stuff. Don't use those, they're too coarse. Use these sort of cheaper sable-y ones or whatever, or synthetic ones. They're fine to use. And get yourself an exciter pack. They're about $45 because to buy each paint pot's about 10. So the cheapest way to go about it is to buy an exciter pack. It gives you a range of colours that will get you going, you know, that you'll be able to use, blend together and make, you know, start designing or start colouring. Then get a you know, an applique picture or, you know, something that's from a kid's colouring book or something like that, and draw it onto fabric. Just trace it on like I have with some black texture and just start painting. Don't be frightened. And the worst case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario is you ruin one piece of fabric and you have to start again. But who cares? If you do, you've got to start somewhere, you know. I mean, Michelangelo didn't start with the Sixtine Chapel, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to start somewhere. And not to say that, you know, all artists end up like Michelangelo, but he certainly didn't start by being the, you know, the top-notch artist. You know, we all start somewhere. All right, so I'm just giving that a little bit of a base. Helen's videos are short and sweet, not live and interactive with Michelle's. Michelle is very, very easy to learn from. I do like Helen's classes, but it's a different experience. Okay. Yep. Yeah, mine are more, I suppose they are interactive, aren't they? Because I'm talking to you and interacting with you and answering questions. And I like that because I like to know that you're all coping with what task we're doing. All right, so I'm just going to stop adding to that. Sometimes you have to stop yourself. Sometimes you just got to say enough is enough. All right. All right, so I'm going to wash that because I need white. We love you and your videos. That's why we always come back and stalk you, Lola. Thanks, Stella. I don't mind being stalked by people like you. So I have been stalked by others, but not people like, in a bad way, not always a good way. And by a female. Go weird, hey? But it happens. So I'm just touching up some of these edges that I've obviously missed last time painting this, just to smooth it out a little. All right, that's that side. So we'll move on to going around here. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Not long after I moved here, actually. And it was a local person. Not anyone you guys would know, because she's well and truly blocked from my life. Strange chick. Alright, so this is an outside petal. And I'm going to fill that one up. Come to the next one. load up the brush and go for the next one. So is the video looking all right this morning? I've got absolutely no internet at all when I go to the camp tonight, just to let you know. So as soon as I leave and get to the camp, I'd seen that people sent me messages, and I thought, right, well, I was driving and I thought, well, you know, like Jodie was one of them, and I thought, right, when I get there, I'll try and answer. And I, just before I was sort of on my way, and I did the naughty thing and sent a message, and then I got there and I couldn't answer anymore or talk anymore. Yeah, so just to let you know. So Monday I'm taking the day off, just also another FYI, just so that I can rest for a day. I'm going to go see the bloke about me back, yada yada yada. I was going to do grocery shopping, but it looks like my daughter's going to do it today. Yay! Then I'm going to sleep in. That is a definite on Monday. I'm already planning my Monday. How sad is that? Yeah. So what I'm being careful of too is that I'm not taking the white and making it a really soft pinky purple colour. So I'm making sure that as soon as I start getting any white, when I'm dabbing that purple on, I'm not going to use it over here because it'll be the wrong colour. And I'll have all sorts of trouble trying to get it to be good. I've got a bit of excess paint on there, take it off. I'll grab some white and I'm going to move it into it. So I'm coming from the other direction, so you can see that. So that softens that out. See how that softens? If I had it gone the other way, still it's only about an hour, love. If I had it come from this way, I would have made the whole thing purple. So the more I push the purple up, the more it makes it purple. If I push the white into the purple, like that, push it in, then it softens that edge rather than pushing the purple up into the white. Does that make sense? That's good, Jodie. I'm glad the picture's good. Touch a bit of blue in there. A little bit more than that. So Jodie, yeah, to answer your question, you would definitely be able to do it. If you find that you're having difficulty keeping, because I know you mentioned about keeping the brush steady, there are days that I couldn't hold a brush if I tried, and you know, it's just, we're just women, you know, we have all sorts of things happening all the time. So if you find you're having a bad day, don't do it. It's as simple as that. Just don't do it, because you'll only get yourself disheartened. Save it for your good days and sit there and do your painting when you feel good, and it'll make you feel even better. And then with your shakes and with the brush, you know, see how I'm using a very short edged brush, like it hasn't got a long, see how long that is compared, I mean, I know it's a bigger brush, but you've got brushes that have the length on them like that. If I was using that, I'd be all, I want to be short, and you can even go shorter. Cut it down to there. Make it shorter so that you've got less distance between here and here. If you cut it short, you create a nice a distance for you to control. That's why I cut that one down, because I wanted it to be within control regions, not all fluffy and creating issues. Does that make sense? Am I making sense, or am I talking rubbish? have to go catch up on the replay. Have a good day. You too. And I'm not doing a lot of like heavy painting as such. And I use my machine for my fine lines. You know what I mean? I don't use my paintbrush on fabric to create fine lines. Because I'm just going to set myself up for failure. So to get the detail in things, like in these petals and that, if I'm wanting the lines for the details and stuff like that, then I'm going to do that with my thread. I've got more, more control over the machine than I do over my own hands some days. Okay, so I spent a bit of time on those two. That sounds sensible to me. Oh, good. That's good, Stella. Just keeping an eye on the time, because I have other projects that I do have to do as well in between, like that quilt that I was talking about yesterday. So I will be doing some of that in my spare time. I'm going to touch that in the middle and get the purple. So these are sort of folding over funny little gaps and edges in between petals, so they're sort of random sort of shapes. So I'm just filling in those there because they need to be darker, because they're behind, which means they're getting less light than the top of the petals. I've got that little white dot in the middle there that I put there, and that's just to not have it look like a big purple blob. Okay. Now I did start, I didn't believe it, I started doing the binding last night on that little free motion quilting one that I did. Well, I shortchanged myself because I accidentally, I did the stupid thing and accidentally didn't measure, and then I went, oh crud, so now I have to cut that off. And then I went, oh, if I cut that off now, I haven't got enough fabric, so now I have to take some more with me and add it on. So that was a bit stupid of me, wasn't it? And that edge there, see this edge here, there needs to be a definition between those two petals, just like that. And then I'm going to just soften at the edge it. Is it relaxing, is it? Oh, that's good, Sue. It's a different kind of zen, isn't it? It's good that you're relaxed. Okay, so that is the top of a fold there like that, and that's the underneath. So the top gets to be a lot whiter. And I've stitched some of it, not all of it. Oh dear. That's going to make it interesting. I'm sure we all have done that at one time. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we've all done it at least twice. I know I've done it more than twice. There's a video I've got on YouTube that's all about how to join, you know, the last bit of the join of the binding, because a lot of people have trouble joining the binding and getting it right. And I've always not struggled. Like, well, I used to struggle when I was a beginner, but not for a long time. So anyway, I did this video when I was at a camp once with this lady. Well, it went viral, absolutely viral. All these groups on Facebook are wanting it, and yada yada yada. Anyway, it's on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and I pretty much did what I should. I didn't do exactly what I should have done in my video. I can't believe it. Oh dear, I think it's just tiredness. And that was this morning. Did that this morning. All right, so what's there? That's that one, and then this one, I'm just going to put a little bit of a light one in the center. Give it a bit of a wash. It's got way too much white in it. Watching you while I'm finishing up with my panel. Good. I must admit, I shared that video of yours to my shop page. There you go. A lot of people have. It's had a huge amount of views and everything. It's crazy. And it wasn't sort of intended. Like, this lady asked me, Leonie, her name, yeah, Leonie. And she asked me, Michelle, I've seen you do it before on quilts, and I know that you can do it, and you do it really well, and it's really easy. Can you just, I'll record it, and can you just show me how you do the joining of the binding to make it look good, because it always looks nice and neat. I said, yeah, sure, no worries. So she had a quilt there, and I said, all right, this is how you do it. And I went bang, 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 bang. And I said, look, send me that video. I said, because I get numerous questions on how to do it, and that video would be perfect. Yep, no dramas. She sent it off to me. Wow, did it go burlesque. It's been there for years. That was like 3-4 years ago that was done. Too much paint. So you see, just adding a bit of that blue, that darkens that purple a bit. There's a bit more depth in there. That white just on the top there helps to make it look like it's got a highlight at the top, like it's rounded. Okay. It's got a soft centre. Now, this one here, we'll need a little bit of the purple around the edge. I went overboard there. And in there. See what I mean about lines and keeping me honest? I'll just make it up as I go now. Alright, so that there, and we'll do a touch of blue. It is a tricky thing to do if you have not been shown how to do it properly. Yeah, absolutely, Stella, especially when you're first starting. I could not for the life of me get my head around it when I first started. And I'd twist it the wrong way, and I'd have it curled up. And at one point I just didn't know how to do it. So I'd get other people to do it for me, or I'd do it and it'd be wrong and it'd look horrible, and oh well, you know, at least I've done it type thing. But now I've got it to a point that I do it with my eyes shut. But this morning my eyes were literally shut when I started doing it because I completely stuffed it. But anyway, it's okay. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a wiggle. Like that. Like that. Just to blend the two colours together. I still twist it wrong most of the time. Yeah, it's easy to do. I tend to, even now, still twist it wrong if I have a solid colour and I can't tell which way is the right side, like which is the wrong side or right side of the fabric. Yeah, I will do it there. So let's just blend this in a little. I'm taking off the excess, got quite a bit of excess there, because I put extra white paint there, and I'm taking the white paint into that darker one. Alright, some more white there. There we go. And a bit of that blue in there. Alrighty. I did one yesterday and went with, well, the first time must be a sinking in there. Yeah, it just takes a few goes at it, doesn't it, sometimes? And if you haven't done it for a while, all of a sudden you go, hang on a second, and you've got to take that double take and just go, all right, stop, think, Michelle, think. What on earth am I doing first? But once you get your head around it, you sort of tend to be right. It's just that first initial, what the hell am I doing thing. Alright, so this is actually all one petal, and then that is a fold, like a fold up the crease. The reason why there's a line there is because that's a colour difference in the pattern, or you know, like part of the pattern colour change. So you'd have two different fabrics there. So that's why that line's there. So I'm just going to paint over in the white, and it'll take me a few minutes because it's such a big area, and I'll get a big blob, look at that, and spread. There we go. See how well it covers this paint? That's black texture, and it just covers it. It's great stuff. Get it down into there. Don't have to go all the way down because I want the darker ones down there anyway. And so up to there. Did I ever tell you about the time we went to a retreat? I can't remember where we were, where I was. Anyway, this is going back a few years. Mum will tell you about it. And they had an emu next door, not an ostrich. We had emus. They had emus next door, and there was one female, and I know it's female because it goes bonk, 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 whereas the males sort of have a growl, a grunty growl. And there was a female there, and she would come right up. I'd go and talk to her because you know what I'm like with animals. So I'd go and talk to her, and well, she fell in love. She would see me come right up to the cage, have a whole body up to the cage, sitting on her backside, on her hind legs, like literally begging me to be a male emu. It was disgusting. It was a disgraceful term, like behaviour. So when I'm sort of sitting there going, what are you doing, you know? And my mum's come home and she's like, oh my God, what's going on? I said, I think the emu loves me, Mum. She said, it does. And every time it'd see me, it'd be bonk, 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 you know, bonk, bonk, bonk. And I had to stop going over there. Oh, yeah, it'll pop off the fabric, that's for sure. Stella, this, yeah, that silvery metallic pearlescent white is amazing. So that was my emu episode there. I only have one. Oh no, I have two other emu episodes. One was quite funny now, not at the time, and one was really quite sweet. The one here in Ballarat, they've got the wildlife park there. Well, there's an emu there. It was just sitting there on the ground. Oh, Suzanne's laughing. And anyway, and it would just sit on the ground, and kids would come over and they'd pat it. So I went up and patted an emu for the first time in my life. I was pretty impressed. Anywho, the other time, and because emus frighten the living crap out of me, a massive bird, right? And so anyway, I was, I don't know, some bloody wildlife park there, and they said, oh yeah, we've got emus and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's really good anyway. Hey, you can go and drive up through there. So off I went, and I can't remember who I was with, but I went off and had a bit of a drive around, and I pulled up and I stopped and got out of the car to have a smoke, and all of a sudden there's these massive amount of emus. And I say emus because I can. All these emus everywhere. Like I heard of them, and I'm thinking, oh, where's the fence line? Guess what? No fence line. We were in with these emus. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And I'm standing there, and they just wander up over to me, and I'm sort of looking at them, and I'm going, oh, this is not good. And I'm thinking, right, I've got a smoke in my hand. I haven't lit it yet. I hadn't even lit the bloody thing. I hadn't even got that far. So I actually had the cigarette in my hand, and it came right close to me, enough that not good. And I've stood there and I've looked at it's looking at my cigarette. I'm looking at the cigarette going, man, you can have it. So it wasn't lit. I threw the cigarette at it and ran to the car. It wanted the cigarette, and I was not going to argue. Bloody emu. So, yeah, normally me and emus don't get along. But, yeah, I had one fall in love with me, and I've patted one, and had one decide it wanted to have a smoke. It was pretty funny. Didn't laugh at the time, but I did crack myself at the time. I thought, I am in so much trouble. I'm standing here in this paddock, and I'm going to have an emu have a go at me in it. And it's got mates. There's mates everywhere. It's got friends everywhere. They're all going to come racing over like some big pack of chooks and peck me to death. Bloody things. Scary big buzzards. Alright, I'm getting there. It's starting to look nice. I've got a little bit more mauve in there. Just sort of break up that blue. I can see there's a little bit blue over here too. Just get a little bit of that blue out. That's looking all right, isn't it? Okay, so I reckon we've done really well. That's quite a bit of painting done in 1 hour. Buffering. Oh, okay, Stella, no worries. Well, we're finished up for the day on some painting, so I hope you enjoyed. It's nice and relaxing. Yes, I know. Send you off to sleep. This afternoon when we do sales, it will be at 3:30, so please let your friends know if you've let them know that I'm going to be having sales. I'm hoping to be able to do some more fat quarters. Probably we'll get into some of those mandalas. Years ago we had a mini. We went to the lion park where you drive around inside the enclosure. Well, one of the male lions decided he was going to have our mini with us in it. Oh my God. Oh, okay. He was going, oh, he mounted the mini. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. That is so funny. I'm sorry, that's really funny. Michelle, that's hilarious. Mounted by a lion. All right, guys. I will see you all at around about 2 o'clock at Classroom. Not too sure whether it's Classroom 2. I think it is. Anywho, you'd see that on craftalive.com. You can find out exactly where we are. And and did it try and eat you or mount you? I can't understand. It said it was going to have our mini with us in it. And then put ew as in ew. Meals on Wheels. Yeah, okay. I was going to have a bit of kiwi, a kiwi a la carte. Literally a la carte. Oh dear. That's funny. All right. Well, thank you very much for the chat this morning and mount. Oh, I was going to mount. I knew. I told you I wasn't going to eat you for dinner. Yeah, that's not good. Ew, yuck. Yeah. Lions, see? Male's gross. Had to gross out the female very quickly. Mount the nearest mini. So, yeah. Once this is ironed, it'll look nice and flat and switched. And I'm going to redo that leaf. I don't like it, so we'll redo that. Talk to you soon. See you at 2 o'clock in the classroom, and then 3:30. So not long after 3:30 for sales. Okay. All right, guys. Bye.